welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. Today's video is about Mythic Plus and my thoughts on it, my opinions on it, and what I think and why I quit Mythic Plus. Mythic Plus is garbage. It's not an enjoyable experience. When you first enter and you do Mythic Plus dungeons from, say, the normal level up to about +5, it's pretty enjoyable. You know, you're blasting through it. It gets really easy. As you start to climb, you get to like the +10 level. Mechanics get a bit harder. It's enjoyable experiencing those mechanics. From level 10 up to 20, it becomes an absolute shit show. It's not enjoyable. It's terrible. And the reason for that is the timer. The timer, unfortunately, has created a meta where it's become commonplace to leave dungeons on the last boss. So you'll spend 30 to 40 minutes completing a dungeon only for one member of your group to realize the timer has just gone off before you killed the last boss, and so they just leave, and you're left on the final boss having wasted 40 minutes of your life trying to complete a dungeon, and they've just left because they're not going to get score for completing that dungeon in time. This is the worst feeling I've ever experienced in World of Warcraft for 18 years of playing this game. I'm absolutely gutted that this is part of the game right now. Mythic Plus has been around for obviously a very long time, but it's really only now where I feel that it's become so commonplace and meta for people just to leave dungeons at any time. It's gotten so bad that I actually have to argue with people to say why it's wrong that they leave a dungeon. Like, I argued with my brother saying, dude, it's not fair that a player's just left a dungeon. And he goes, oh, well, that player's not going to get score, so why should he have to stick around? Because he committed to that dungeon. Once he signed up to that group, you are committing to completing that dungeon with that group. You are not committing to only completing that dungeon as long as it's in time. You are committing to completing that dungeon. Otherwise, you are saying to the whole group, guys, if this isn't timed, I'm leaving instantly. There is a social contract that you are signing when you sign up for a dungeon. And it ruins the player experience when you join a dungeon and you leave literally the second it's an untimed key. It's not a fun experience. Blizzard have tried their hardest to connect both the competitiveness and the gear aspect of doing dungeons. And unfortunately, these two have completely missed the mark. I'd say up to about the level 10 to 15 mark, they gel pretty well the time, and the gear connects pretty well. But from 15 plus and a higher, I would say it's absolutely terrible. They completely missed the mark. The fact that it's become meta to leave dungeons, the fact that there is no penalty to leaving a dungeon on the last boss bewilders me. How can you seriously have a game where it is competitive, where completing a dungeon hinges on the fact of whether you will get gear or not that week? How can you not give a penalty for leaving that dungeon at that point? How is there not a report button that says report leaver? How is there not anything that dissuades players from doing this? Oh, you know what, Blizzard? Do you know what I should go and do right now? Why don't I go in on my druid, right? Why don't I log in into my druid right now and join a dungeon? And then I'll just do the dungeon for 30 minutes. And just as we get to the final boss, I'm just going to leave the dungeon. Then I'm just going to repeat this about 20 other times. Why not? there is nothing stopping me. There is zero stopping me from doing that in-game. I could go out there right now, let's say 30 minutes, let's say 5 minutes to find another dungeon. Okay, so we're talking about 30 to 35 minutes per dungeon. I could leave technically on the third boss, and the group's like, falling apart at that point. So, I mean, I could do 4 an hour. Like 3 to 4 an hour, and I could do this for like 10 hours. This is ridiculous. I could do 30 to 40 dungeons in a session, a whole gaming session, and ruin how many players is that? How many players is that? 40 times 4. 160. That's 160 players that I could completely ruin their gaming session of playing dungeons. Okay? That's it. And then let's do times that by 35 minutes for a dungeon, right? Okay, so that all in all, that's 5,600 minutes. So let's divide that by 60. Okay, so I could waste 93 hours of people's time in 8 hours. That's what I could do. Why would I do that? And this is what is ridiculous about doing this in-game and having no penalty and leaving Mythic Plus in this really toxic place where it's just commonplace to leave dungeons. The fact that the time is there is great. Woohoo for the score and the time. I'm so happy for you if you time a dungeon. But is it getting to a point where the competitiveness is outweighing the gear aspect, the enjoyment aspect? How is it fun to go into a dungeon for 30 minutes and then leave the final boss? It's not fun. This is why I'm quitting Mythic Plus. There's no point in doing it. There is no point in doing Mythic Plus. Like, I can do it up to like plus 15s maybe, because then you aren't dealing with quite as many levers, but you still are if there is no penalty for it, for leaving a dungeon. You're just putting people off. I've said before, I made a video about this. I've said, Blizzard, you need to put something in the game that dissuades this behavior. Maybe you don't actively punish people for doing this, but maybe you do something that perhaps says, who was the best player in your group? Who did you enjoy playing with most? And there just being a button that you can select. You can honor 2 people from your group each time. You can't honor your friends. You can't honor your guildies. You can only honor random players. And then this way, you actually get an opportunity to give back some feedback to other players, encourage them, improve the player experience, because right now, Mythic Plus is absolutely garbage. It is. I love World of Warcraft. I've loved World of Warcraft for 18 years now, dude. I've played this game for a very, very long time. I love this game. From the bottom of my heart, I freaking love this game. But it absolutely breaks my heart to see Mythic Plus in such a terrible state of affairs. It really does. It makes me sad because I personally enjoy doing dungeons. I enjoy doing high-level content. What I don't enjoy is having my time wasted and then seeing a game developer doing nothing to improve upon it. There's a system that is clearly not working, and they're doing nothing to fix it. It is highly upsetting to me as a player, as a passionate World of Warcraft player who wants the game to succeed, to see Blizzard doing nothing to improve this toxic way of playing the game. Players should not leave on the final boss just because the key hasn't been timed. That's 4 other players who do not get to complete that dungeon as a result of you leaving. They do not get that dungeon in their vault, so to speak. They do not get the satisfying feeling of completing that dungeon. It is heartbreaking to me. Absolutely. It really is. The one person can just ruin so many people's days. It's a shame. So, guys, that's why I'm quitting Mythic Plus. I'm going to find other things that I like to do in game that can't be ruined by other players constantly. Good luck to me. I'm really disappointed that this has happened. I have made videos about this in the past. I have tweeted about this. I have done all the things that I feel you need to as a person if you aren't happy with a situation, complaining, offering solutions. Big one for me is I hate complainers, but I don't hate complainers who also offer solutions. If you present a problem with a solution, I've got huge respect for that. That's what I've done myself here. Okay? I haven't just complained, I've offered a solution to this as well. So, yeah, that's why I'm disappointed. That's why I'm quitting Mythic Plus. I really hope that Blizzard fix it or offer some type of solution or improve upon this system. When they do, I will start doing Mythic Plus again. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry. This is Erosium out.